This tutorial will address the smart clicker basic operation of connecting to the smart clicker and also using the criteria button. There are 4 buttons. This is the iOS version. You'll see these 4 buttons on Android. There are only 3. The sound-based training is coming to Android, but it's not available yet. And this demonstration is using iOS version 1.2. Parentheses 1 in the Apple Store. The bottom 2 buttons that you'll see here, the 2 black buttons, those generally you will not need those for normal operation. And the setting is a special function. You should not go in and change anything in the settings for right now. You don't need to do that. So let's jump right in, and we're going to press the begin training button, and immediately the app will go out and look for pet tutor devices, and if it's recognizes those and can connect, it will try to do that. The middle one has the green check mark. I'm going to uncheck it so you can see what it looks like when it's disconnected, and then I'm going to press that gray check mark in the middle again, and it'll reconnect so I can manually reconnect it. Now I'm going to press the bottom button, which is start training. And because only one of those devices on that prior screen was connected, that's the one labeled Smart Clicker, it's only brought up in this screen. And now it's ready to receive commands from the clicker. So when I press the right-hand button, it'll flash the icon for that particular device, for that smart clicker, and you'll also hear the sound of a mechanical clicker. So that's the basic operation of the smart clicker. And if there were a feeder and you associated this particular smart clicker to that feeder, it would send that command on to the feeder. So let's go into the criteria counter, which is this C button here. And if I press that, it'll be a little drop down window, and it starts a little pie chart. And I have a few clicks on that already, so I'm going to reset that, and it cleared out all of my counts. So now if I press the right hand button, you'll see I get 1 hit. I'm pressing the right hand button, which is a hit. And let's say we were targeting. When I say hit and misses, this is referring to a criteria. So if we're targeting for an animal and its nose had to get within a certain distance of the target, like let's say pushing a cabinet door closed for service dogs is very common. So let's say the dog's nose is close enough, and we're going to reinforce that proximity to the door with a click and a treat. And we're going to count that as a hit. But let's say on the 4th trial, the dog moved toward the door but didn't get close enough. So we want to keep track of those. So now we've had a total of 4 trials. You'll see the 4 down here underneath the pie chart. One of those was a miss. The pie chart represents the percentage of hits and misses. So we're running about 25% now misses on criteria. Not too bad. But we really need to keep that number of hits higher, or we will need to lower our criteria. The other thing that the app is tracking is the number of reinforcers per minute. So the successes per minute is displayed in the lower left-hand corner, and the total number of trials. So let's add a few more hits. So now I'm up to 5 hits, and that's 83%. Which is pretty good. So I able to push my criteria. In other words, in my example, the dog's nose would have to get closer and closer to the door, would be an increase in my criteria. Let's say we had another trial and that was a miss. So now we've got a total of 7 trials displayed underneath the pie chart. 5 of those are hits and 2 are misses. And that's the basic operation of the criteria counter. Again, if I press the reset button on the screen, it clears that out, and I'm ready to start over. Now, if you'll notice, when I have a miss, there's no sound. And if there were a feeder connected, no command would be sent to the feeder. So the app is smart enough to know that for a miss, we'd only want to record that data. We don't want to take any action on it. Unlike when I hit the right-hand button, now that's a hit. You get the auditory marker sound, and it would send a command onto the feeder if there was a feeder connected. So that's the basic operation of the smart clicker, connecting it and running the criteria counter. We'll have other tutorials that'll go into more detail on some of the other functions of the smart clicker. It's jam-packed with different features and capabilities, and we'll go through those in another tutorial. Thank you.